Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/MaliciousCompliance. In today's episode, if it's not in writing, it didn't happen goes both ways. No help for corporate? I'll just leave when scheduled. Want to beat the crap out of your own car? Well, okay then. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. If it's not in writing, it didn't happen goes both ways. My new manager at work is one of those people that absolutely has to be in control. Even when you're exceeding every scorecard measure, keeping you head down, not putting a toe out of line, she still asks you to come to a meeting room to discuss some minor issue or another. Recently, she pulled me into a meeting to discuss me being late from work. Protocol is to call in, say we'll be late, then submit a schedule adjustment request when we arrived. She accused me of not calling in or submitting a request but was able to prove I did, only instead of leaving it at that, she insisted I now needed to call her and explain why I was late. That's not the process, I told her, and she said she was making a new one. So now I call her at 6 a.m. on her day off to let her know if I'm gonna be late. She also had a meeting with me because my scorecard for a stat was 99 out of 100, with a target of 50. She had to point out the 1 out of 100 I missed. She also did the same for a handling time issue where I am hitting an average of 600 seconds with a target of 1500. She needed to tell me about a call I took too long on. Suffice to say, complaints have been raised to her manager. Following an incident where she was asked to follow up on something for me, and claimed if it's not in writing, it didn't happen, I've been asking for everything in writing and repeat that mantra back to her when she claims to have told me something. Last week, she asked me to see her after my call. I walked over and she wasn't there, so went back to my desk. She asked me why I didn't stay around, and I reminded her of the time she put, in writing, that I wasn't to spend more than 1 minute waiting for her if she asked to see me and was to go back to my desk to take calls, not wasting time. She asked me to come over again, and when I did, she wasn't there. This repeated twice more before my shift was over. Each time I documented logged out at 14:14 and 35 seconds p.m., came to your desk, you were not there, spent 45 seconds waiting, returned to desk and took another call at 14:16 and 38 seconds p.m. in chat. She messages me to ask what time I finish. I tell her it was 2 minutes prior, and she says we can catch up now. I tell her that my shift if over, and ask if she'll approve an overtime pay for an out-of-hours meeting. She tells me not to be silly, and it'll just take 10 minutes. I refuse, and say if I don't get paid, we can do it tomorrow when I am being paid. She's typing, then not, then typing, then not, choosing her words. I know she's angry at being challenged, and she decided to employ one of the tactics she used when she managed a team for a company where this was standard practice. Okay, well, if you'd like to go home now, I can always make it a formal meeting. A formal meeting where I work is code for a meeting with HR, documented on your record, for misconduct and repeated issues. She thinks she's won. Not a problem. Make a formal meeting, ensure I have 24 hours notice, send a formal invite, and I will bring a support person with me. I log out and leave, but not before grabbing screenshots and saving a copy of the chat logs. Next day, she's called my bluff and has a meeting scheduled. I send it to my union rep, and she comes in on the day. HR sits down with us and opens with, so we're here today to discuss some concerns. Your team leader asked you to attend an off-the-cuff catch-up 3 times, and for some reason you refused? I quickly clarify what actually happened. My manager claims otherwise, and I repeat her mantra, if it's not in writing, it didn't happen. Then I supply receipts, her demands to put things in writing, her chat, my timestamps, my call logs, and her message to me afterwards. My union rep stares at the two of them with a small smile and asks, so do you maintain the position that employees should attend meetings unpaid, and that misconduct investigations are a good use of resources if they refuse? HR said there may have been a miscommunication, and that I could return to work. I have it put in writing that I am not accused of any misconduct, and have been cleared of any false accusations, with nothing documented on my staff file. Yesterday, my team was advised that our team leader had decided to pursue opportunities outside of the company and we were getting a new manager. Edit. Small comment to those that say it's a shitty place to work. Full disclosure, it's actually not. Job is satisfying on a personal and ethical level. I deal with vulnerable people and help them. Pay and perks are great, and the people are great to work with. The metrics are more than reasonable, and all my managers over the last several years have been wonderful except a couple who were wrong for the role and were swiftly removed or made to improve. I loved every minute of reading this. I will be logging those minutes. Well done. NGL, I hated every word until the tables turned. People like that make me so freaking angry. For every person like OP, there are 10 who don't get the justice they deserve in a situation like that. I hope HR didn't forget to put everything in OP's manager's file in writing before terminating her. Yesterday, my team was advised that our team leader had decided to pursue opportunities outside of the company and we were getting a new manager. Translated from corporate, this means team leader made us look bad and we are not happy. It's more like team leader has become a liability. Risk has been mitigated. Many years ago, I worked for a company in a salaried position to take into account the new working time directive in the UK. I was on an average 36-hour week, working 3 days in the week and 1 at the weekend. They estimated my shifts to be 9 hours, but in reality, they were 12-hour shifts with 2 to 3 hours worth of traveling time per shift. So I built up quite a bit of excessive hours. When I came to take time off, my manager said that I had to arrange my own cover and I could only take my leave on my allocated days off and had to work my allocated days. I said that she was incorrect and she suggested I take up the matter with HR. So she was surprised when I did so and bought in my union rep. It was at this point HR discovered that I had built up enough excessive hours that I could have 2 weeks off before even touching my allocated leave. 20 minutes into the scheduled meeting, I was asked to leave so that my manager and the HR manager could discuss this matter. I really don't get it. I'm a manager, and if I had an employee that's demolishing expectations, I'd be leaving them alone and make sure that they get a good increase come performance review time. This was a pleasure to read. Thank you for starting my day off wonderfully. And congratulations. No help for corporate? I'll just leave when scheduled. Not super crazy, but really pissed me off today. I work for a large retailer and there is a corporate visit coming up. Big deal to the higher-ups at my local branch, and the store must look perfect. For reference, I am the only employee in my entire department, roughly 1,300 product placements, and the company won't hire more help because I can do it alone. Today I was busting my ass to get not only all my normal duties done, but also make sure everything was absolutely perfect for corporate. I decided I would stay an extra hour or 2 plus not take my 2 paid breaks. As I'm working, one of my bosses comes up asking me to do a few other tasks, which I just didn't have time to complete. I politely told him everything I still had left to do and advised that I could also complete those tasks if someone can help me for an hour. That someone could be one of the managers, by the way. I was told no one can help and they need to get done so the store looks good for corporate, then they walked away. So I said fuck it and took my paid breaks, then continued working as hard as I possibly could to get done what I knew absolutely needed to be done, primarily the product order, then left at the time I was scheduled to leave. I didn't clean, straighten up the department, refill things which had been sold already, etc. On my way out, I told that manager I was leaving because my shift was over and I had things to do, and he should probably make sure someone cleans up my department tonight or it's not going to look good for corporate tomorrow. He just looked at me with bewilderment for a moment, probably because I'd never done anything like this before, then told me to have a good night and he'd see me Monday. Don't think you're being helpful working through your breaks either. The second that comes back to bite them, you are out of a job since you decided to work through and violate company policy and labor rules. They will hang you out to dry. As others said, work your shift, ask for the help you need, and if your management is unwilling to step up, leave the fall out on them. Another person who has the attitude given them by management. How are they going to see that you need help if you do the work of several people? Stop trying to prove them right. Way to work your wage. If the managers cared about the corporate visit, they would have pitched in and helped. I worked for a large retail company for 10 years. Don't let the corporate visit hype get to you. It's not your job on the line, it is your manager's. Want to beat the crap out of your own car? Well, okay then. This is more malicious non-objection than malicious compliance, since my compliance consisted mostly of not stopping the idiot doing the stupid thing, albeit at his own request. But there's no such subreddit, so I'll have to post it here. A few weeks ago, I found myself parked next to a car that was, as far as I could tell, identical to mine. Same make, Subaru, model, Outback, color, muddy green, and probably same year, although I'm not an expert. Close enough, probably. It's a popular car. I pass them all the time. My car has a largish parking lot ding on the driver's side rear door panel. No idea how it got there. Probably some kid opened his door a little too quickly/forcefully and it smacked into my car. These things happen. No need to get worked up about it. I'd been meaning to get it fixed, and I'm a little sorry that I didn't do it because it would have saved the idiot a lot of grief. Self-inflicted grief, to be sure, but still. Enter the idiot. Bog standard middle American dad. Nothing special about him. We're both exiting the Walmart with full carts, and he's about 100 feet ahead of me. As we approach, I'm thinking it looks like he's heading in the same direction. I even plan on jokingly saying nice car, in Subaru solidarity. But I will not get that opportunity. I should mention here that I've already clicked my clicker to unlock the car. It'll be important later. Kinda wish I hadn't, TBH. That would have spared the idiot some grief too. This is the point where the idiot notices the large ding on his car's door. And he takes offense at that. To be fair, that ding is pretty ugly. The paint is gone where the tip or something from whatever hit it was centered, and there's a scratch leading off to one side. I think it kinda looks like a spoon in the middle of a small/shallow cereal bowl. So anyway, he gets really mad. Like screaming things like son of, and it's a brand new car, and stuff. I think he looked up at the windshield, hoping to find a note or something, but this all happened so fast that my brain might be making up details to fit into the blank spots. I've actually slowed down a bit by now because it's uncomfortable being around really pissed off people. And to be honest, I was super confused about what was going on. For a second, I actually forgot which car was whose. It didn't make sense for him to be hopping mad about my car having a dent. I think my brain was going, wow, two exactly same cars getting huge parking lot dings in them. What are the odds? But you know that weird twisting feeling where you reorient yourself from the confusion and snap back to reality? That happened. I realized that he had made the same mistake that I made. And so I did what anyone would naturally do. I called out, hey, it's okay. That's my car. Which backfired spectacularly. The idiot must have thought that I meant that's my car's door that smacked into yours. Which only made him madder. He started yelling things like WTF, and more of it's a brand new car, and more of the same. I tried to explain, not exactly easy from a distance and definitely a lot harder when someone is raging at you. And that's when he opened the driver's side rear door on my car, i.e. the one with the large ding. And then he slammed it into his car. Hard. It made a dent, took a little paint off the edge of my door too, but I didn't notice that until later. So at that point I yelled, hey! Stop that! Which only made him more upset, because he responded with, oh, you don't like that? Shut up! Or words to that effect. I'm paraphrasing here. So, I guess in a nutshell that's my malicious compliance. I did exactly what he said, shut up, and let him slam my car door into his car a couple more times. And I let him try to kick it too. There wasn't enough room between the two cars for a good Chuck Norris roundhouse, so he had to be satisfied with a weak sauce knee to the rear quarter panel. But kudos for trying, idiot. You gave it your best shot. I wish I was some kind of heroic Viking warrior who could come to the defense of his property. But my flabby-ass wimpy dad bod isn't up to a fight in a Walmart parking lot. So I backed my cart full of ice cream and frozen tater tots right of there and started booking it back to the Walmart, intending to ask for help from a security guard. I sincerely regret that because I did not get to see the moment when the scales fell from the idiot's eyes and he realized that he had been beating the shit out of his own car. I can only imagine that it was one of the most epic epiphanies of his angry life. And to compound my disappointment, he exited the parking lot in the opposite direction, preventing me from seeing the extent of the damage he had done. I didn't get to applaud either. This whole episode took maybe 5 minutes, tops. Probably less. But aside from a little lost paint on the edge of my door, that was probably going to have to be replaced anyway, I was fine. Him, not so much. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. That's a quote from Sun Tzu, The Art of Parking. Okay, now that was funny. Rare. Good write-up too. I'd say it was MC enough for us, though actually observing the fallout would have been best. Imagine him having to tell his wife what happened too. Man. If only there was some unique identifier at the front and back of cars. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.